Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and today I'm going to work out of Johanna Basford's Enchanted Forest. You can see the book below here in your screen, of course. One of the things, I'm going to change my format of my broadcast just a little bit, in that I'm still going to do course color throughs and the whole bit, but I will be labeling each episode as a how-to and then fill in the blank as to what I'm going to be doing. So today I'm going to show you how to create these rocks that I put in. As you can see now, if you're familiar with Johanna's books, and particularly Enchanted Forest, you know that this whole bottom half here is blank except for the tunnels. But obviously on mine, as you can see, I've got these stone, these stones, I want to say stone bricks, but yeah, stone bricks, okay, or stones, that I created and put on there to create the brick wall with the tunnel underneath. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. I'm also going to talk about the tunnel and then some additions that I've done to the original piece. All right, so let me get situated here. Yeah. And I'm going to pull you in. Okay. So, and forgive me, my camera's giving me just a little bit of problem here. I'm so sorry. There we go. Thank you for your patience. All right. So, the first obvious thing that I've done, and you've seen this technique out of me before, is I've gone ahead and I created shading on the tunnel to give a dimensional effect. So, I like this effect. I've used it on other things, and if you've been following my videos, I just did it on my Japan video where I colored in, it was my Oriental book, and I went ahead and I colored in the letters and made them really pop from the screen. I really enjoyed that particular project. All right, so let me start here. Is I'm going to go ahead and pull a gray pencil. And it's so funny because I just put all my colors in their proper order and now I can't find them. That'll teach me. Let's see here. There they are. All right. Then, of course, we need to have the napkin underneath my hand, especially on this project because of what else I'm going to show you. All right. So what you want to do is go ahead and pull whatever gray color that you want. Let's see, that'll be a good one right there. So the gray that I'm going to be using this time is my Sooty Style Color 100. And as I've said before, these little puppies are not numbered, so you got to go with basically whatever color. Let me look at something real quick here. Actually, forgive me, for blending purposes, I'm going to flip over to a Prismacolor, and that particular color is what? Warm gray, 50% warm gray, and the number is PC1054. All right. Now, I haven't separated these pages, but I will, because when I go ahead and put them in my storage notebook, they're going to be separated anyway. so I don't mind. There we go. All right, so as I've shown you before, is we want to go ahead and shade that tunnel. And what basically is going to happen where we're going to get this tube effect is we're going to end up, or I'm going to end up making the outsides darker than the inside. Now, I particularly enjoy the Prismacolor because it really goes on nicely. It shades nicely, and especially with the Johanna Basford books because of the quality paper. Let me make sure I don't have any glare here. And I'm going to sneeze in a second, excuse me. All right. And what do I always tell you? Let the pencil do the work, right? Now, let's go ahead and work on this 3D effect. Is we darken the outside. And I'm talking like the very outside, and then gently come into the center. And you're getting a really nice view of how that effect looks. And it does look great on camera. I like that. And again, when you color, you want to gently work your way in with the color. And by that I mean gently lighten from the very, very dark to the lightest in the center. And as always, make sure that your pencil point is sharp. Several people have asked me what kind of sharpener I use. I found this at Walmart. A couple dollars, I think. And really, the trick to a good sharpener is to have very sharp blades. You could have the best sharpener in the world, and if the blades aren't sharp, you're going to have problems. My point being is you can buy inexpensive sharpeners with a sharp blade, and they'll work just as well. All right, so then, all right, so we've got a nice little tubular effect there coming on, which makes me think of tubular bells, which makes me think of The Exorcist. Remember that? All right, so I'm going to smooth this out very lightly, about, I don't know, 2 or 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to carefully, with the edge of the eraser, erase down the center. Now, That's one of two ways you can do this. The second way, and you can do this as an and, meaning you can do the erasing, is then to take a white pencil and go ahead and color down that center, and that's really going to pop it. All right. So now you can see how we've got a really great effect here. And see, again, it's just with one gray pencil. Let me work on this little area here, the curvy part. Again, every time I lift my pencil, I am turning it. And letting the pencil do the work now. I'm going to come in just a little bit, a lot lighter, so now you can start seeing that circular center build up. And it's the trick of the transition between that outside dark line and then the inside where it's darker. And the key word is transition. In other words, you don't want just the dark line and then lighter on the gray on the inside. You want it to progress from the darker to the lighter. That is the key to making this work. All right, and I've got a little segment here. Let me pull out so I can turn and not make you dizzy. And I've got a little segment in here. I need to darken, turning my pencil every time I lift it. And I'm just going to do that little edge. Sweat the details, folks. Yeah. Excuse me while I sharpen. All right. Now let me get into another clear area so you can see me do this again. And I'm not going to bore you to tears by doing all of this because there's some other drawing things on here that I want to show you. So stick with me here. All right, and I do need to adjust you just a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do this whole area, the lighter, the gray. And I'm even going to go into this white area here a little bit so you can see it on fresh white. And for the moment, I'm just going to stop at this intersection here. Oops, just saw something here that I wanted to fix. Yeah. All right. Now, I had erased part of this section here because I was trying out a couple of things. So in this new section, you can see that it looks very rough. And that means I need to use my blender pencil just to blend that. There we go. All right, so that's the base, excuse me, for the gray. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on my edges. I'm pressing quite firmly, probably a 7 or an 8. And then I'm going to take my brush, get that loose stuff off so I can see where I am, sharpen my pencil. Let me get that glare away. All right. Sharp point, nice and firm. All right. Now it's all about working that gray from the outside towards the inside. So a little bit darker here, right? But not as dark as the very edge. Don't worry if you get in the middle a little bit. We're going to take care of that in a second, obviously. But you want a nice transition from that edge. You don't want it abrupt, right? And then I'm going to erase. Or not erase, brush. And then I'm going to, excuse me for reaching. Then I'm going to take my little center eraser, my teeny tiny one, and on the edge of it, I'm going to open up that middle. Keep turning your eraser. Now, it looks like I went over a little bit here, so I'm going to fix that. Which is erasing part of my stones, but that's okay because I'll pop that back in. All right, and then I'm going to take my Premier Prismacolor and I'm going to hit it with the white. And you may think it's redundant to go with the white, but it's not. It really makes it pop. All right, there you go. All right. So that's how we're getting the tunnel. Let me raise you up a little bit. And you can see how I did that section. Now, if you want to, this part was done a while back. I don't remember, but it's been quite a while. So if I want to make this match what I'm doing here, I may go in with a darker gray yet and go ahead and take care of those edges. I don't know yet. I'm not too concerned about it because, you know, the gray tunnels are going to be varied in color anyway. All right, so I had to erase a little bit of my brick. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. So this is my Pentel pencil. Got it at Walmart. It's also known as a mechanical pencil with your little lead here that comes out the end. So that area where I accidentally erased some of this, I'm going to go ahead, which is right here, and fix it. Excuse me. And let me come in a little bit to show you. Is I just take my pencil and just go ahead and pop that back in. Very, very simple fix. All right, so before I talk about how I did the brick, I want to talk about a couple of the other doodads that I've added. Whenever you go to add something, you want to eventually ink it in. Johanna Basford did her series of classes a while back. I think it was in October, November of 2019. Everybody loved it. And what you need is your pencil to draw your initial shape. And then what you're going to do after that is go ahead and ink over it. Now, there are several ways that you can ink over it. I have a super fine pen that I use that I really love. And I believe that she said she likes her 0.5 the best as far as her pens and so forth. So let me find this. So grabbing a piece of paper here, this is the Micron pens. I'm sure I saw. Oh yeah, there we go. So actually I'm using a 02. All right. So what I wanted to show you is, if you noticed inside the tunnels, there were some objects like these little rocks. So let me go ahead and show you. I added those, and I added these little mushrooms as well. They're very simple shapes to draw. You can draw them you should draw them on a piece of paper until you're comfortable drawing them on your piece. So in the case of the mushrooms, we do a little cap, close it off, and we've got just two little lines right there. And if you draw 3 or 4 of them, you'll start to get to the point where you're very comfortable with it. See? So you do this. If you want to make a little U, that's fine too. They are incredibly simple and straightforward to draw. And so I added these mushrooms. Now notice I added them at the bottom of the curves and here on the top because that's where they would be growing out of something. In other words, I'm not going to have it sticking out this way. So let me go ahead, let's see here. All right, I've got 2 spaces here. All right, so let me go ahead and add this little mushroom. Gonna make a teeny tiny one here. There. And there. There you go. That's all you gotta do. And then I'm gonna make one just a little bit lower. See that? Let me zoom you in. They're not difficult to draw at all. So if you say, well, ILene, I don't have drawing skills, yeah, you do. Mushrooms are very forgiving when you draw them. You're just going to make a little cap. And then you're going to draw a squiggly line there. There you go. All right. Now, the other thing I want to show you that I drew in here, which you saw, let me zoom you out, excuse me for bumping the camera, is these rocks. These are already inked. But the one thing I want to show you about these particular rocks is that you want to make them look like they are, again, 3-dimensional. So I want you to watch how I do that. Still using my pencil, I'm going to make a backwards C. And just very lightly draw it in. And at the top and the bottom of the C, I'm going to narrow it down until it meets the original line of the rock. Look how that one looks 3-dimensional now. So let me go ahead and finish these up. Takes 2 seconds to do once you get comfortable doing them. And the last one. There you go. Let me pull you out because when you have a micro view, it looks awkward, but when you see it as you would see it normally when you're looking at a colored page, it doesn't look awkward at all. Or wonky, as I like to say. But see how nice those look in the context. All right. So with my camera pulled out, let me do another set of these and you can see how it's gonna look. All right, I'll pull you in just a little bit, but I'm not gonna give you the micro view that you had before. All right, now watch how I do this. See? Just a little backward C on part. And the neat thing about drawing rocks like these is they're not perfect circles, so if you screw it up, nobody knows. Look how neat that looks. So you can see the ones I did and the ones I haven't done yet. Yeah, those are looking really great. There you go. That was it. And now I'm going to show you on a clear piece of paper how to do that. All you have to do is draw the shape of your rock. And again, if you watch my tutorials, I did a huge tutorial on the undersea. It was a Johanna Basford. Let's see, Lost Ocean with the fish that were all going in a circle. And I drew some rocks and a sailor's steering wheel, treasure chest. All right, now look how I'm doing this. Just a little backwards C. Just follow the shape of your rock. So if your rock isn't a perfect circle, so what? Okay, there you go. And this is great for drawing bubbles too. That's actually why you want your rocks to be a little jiggly, excuse me, because you don't want them to be confused for a bubble. So, in the amount of time that I've been talking to you and showing you this, I've drawn 4, 5, 6, 8 rocks, stones. There you go. Easy peasy. Practice it on plain paper and then put it on your drawing. All right, so what you also want to do when you've drawn your stones is go ahead with your pen, inking pen. Be sure that you rest your hand on something and go ahead and ink your stone. Now, because you're drawing on pencil, and see, I'm going to go ahead and do the backward on there already because I want some of those black. But anyway, when you're drawing on pencil, your ink may dry up. So what you do is you just blot it on a napkin so it pulls the ink out. So you can do your backwards C either in your ink or gray. There you go. How does that look? All right, easy peasy. Here's a section of little stones down here. I'm just going to go ahead and use my ink marker. Now that backwards C, you can vary the, let me pull you in. You can vary the thickness of that C for effect. Oh, teeny tiny one. And again, you don't want to be a perfect C. Be sure you follow the outline of the rock or stone. There you go. Let me pull you out. And you can see how it looks. Isn't that neat? And let me even pull you up a little further so you can see that as well, how that looks. See? All right, so I've taught you how to shade the tunnels here to give them a nice 3D effect. And by the way, like I said, if you want that darker, you can go ahead and take a darker gray and go ahead and outline that. Excuse me while I grab a little water. Or you can leave it as is. You can see this is lighter in here. Doesn't really matter, but it's up to you how you want to do that. Again, when you're doing nature stuff, it's very forgiving. Here's some more stones. And I can't say enough how straightforward this is, and I do not want you to be intimidated by it. It's a wonky circle with a backwards C, right? Look how quickly I'm able to do these. See? Let me go ahead and zoom in on that. There you go. Here's an oval stone. See how I did that? Some of the C's are thick, some are thin. Yeah, there you go. Oh, got a little lone stone there. Okay, so I'm not going to do any more. Actually, the only set I have left is this. I did this set here. Oh, excuse me. Down here. There we go. I hope you're getting a feeling of how straightforward it is and uncomplicated. practice it on a white piece of paper. All right, so now let's go ahead and ink those mushrooms. Let me get you lined up here. Now, the really neat thing about doing it in pencil first is if you have a problem with it and you screw it up with the pencil, you can correct it with when you go to ink it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And look how I fixed that when it was wobbly before. And again, clean your pen off in your napkin or paper towel every once in a while to unclog it. There we go. So there's that. And there's this one. And there is this one. Notice I thinned this down a little bit, the mushroom width. And I'm going to curve that a little bit so it doesn't hit that previous one. There you go. All right, now, important, you got to let that dry, and then you gently take your eraser and erase away the ink. So, or the flare of the marker. So, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more. Now, see how this one is a little wonky in that it looks like it's kind of mushed on the side. So I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to change the stem, move the stem. There we go. Let me bring you in. I think that's it. Okay. So do you see how I went ahead and even though my pencil was right there, I moved it over this way. So again, you can correct while you're drawing. This guy's a little wide, don't like that. So we're going to narrow that up and make a little stem. There you go. All right, let me do my next set. Pencil first, always, then ink it. And take your time, don't get in a hurry. Okay, there we go. Now that looks a little blotchy, but that's because I've got the pencil underneath it. So I'll be fixing that in a minute. All right, let me do my last set of mushrooms. And I'm just doing this now because I want that first set to dry. Decide to change the size of that one. And let's see. I'm going to change the size of this one because it looks a little top heavy. This one looks pretty good. All right, there you go. And again, notice how I changed up over the pencil. That's okay, you can do that. All right, so let's go back to the original ones here. And I'm gonna use my little gummy eraser. Hopefully it's dry enough, or else I'm gonna be a little embarrassed, but that's okay. All right, so let's carefully erase. All right, now I'm not happy with how that's pulling off, so I'm going to go ahead and carefully use my little Tombro, which is my Mono 0. And very, very lightly. Yeah, there we go. And you can get away with this in Johanna Basford's books because the paper quality is so good. But again, be very light with it, with your eraser. There we go. Okay, let's go to these. This is a good one to show you because I changed the size. Okay, not too much erasing. And let's go to these three. Very, very lightly. Okay. And let's go to these two. And these three. I hope that you're getting the gist of this and just seeing how straightforward it is. Nothing exotic. Okay, and let me use my brush. And when you draw things in these tunnels, do it very, very lightly. Even though it's in pencil, you still want it very light. All right, so let me pull you out and you can see the overall. There we go. Hold on a minute here. There you go. Now, if I wanted to, I could add some more rocks down here because it's the bottom half and this is where you'd expect to see them. But I think I'm gonna let that go because I think we've got quite enough. All right, next thing I want to show you. I'm gonna jump up to the top for a second. You see these little flyaways here? I'm going to get my micro pen pencil. And this one is my 005, so it's pretty narrow. Let me just check and make sure that's still, ooh, that's heavy. Nope. Yeah, it looks like that got a little bent, so we've got a black spot there. All right, hold on here. Always, always, always check your pens and pencils before you do things. All right, so let's see. All right, so this is a Singo pen, and it's a 0.025, very, very narrow. Excuse me, 0.28, my bad. So it's extremely, extremely narrow, and I bought it specifically for this kind of work. All right, so for your edification and enjoyment, I'm gonna go ahead and draw in a couple more of these little flyaways. Now, it's very straightforward to do. All you need to do, let me show you on this. All you need to do is just draw a little circle and a tail, a little circle and a tail, a little circle and a tail, little circle and a tail. All right, so let me show you on this. Little circle and a tail. Oop, gotta connect it. Little circle and a tail. Little circle and a tail. Little circle and a tail. So see, again, you can add all these little extras to your coloring book, and no one's the wiser. There you go. So that's all I'm going to add for the moment because I don't want it to look too funny. Yeah, I think that looks good. Oh, got a little bit of a bent tail there. Oh well. Now, honestly, if you wanted to add a few more across the top, you can. Now, on these, I'm more comfortable with circle going off to the left. If that's the case with you, or to the right, whatever you're comfortable with, turn your whole page. But again, I cannot emphasize enough how straightforward this is. It's nothing exotic, it's nothing complicated. All right, and let me pull out for you. There you go. Look how cool that looks. All right, last thing I want to show you is I want to show you how to do these little stones, bricks. And these actually happen to work out really well. And these are very simple to do. Let me get a fresh piece of paper here. All right, so bricks. All you need to do is a rounded rectangle. Let me pull you in. All right, rounded rectangle. See? If you want to start in the middle on the top, which I do sometimes, rounded rectangle. And that's okay that there's a gap. Rounded rectangle. I like to come in from the middle, sometimes the middle on the top, and then just go over. See? Now, you don't want to do a square unless you're doing brick, okay? See the difference? You want to do rounded rectangle. All right, so let's do the next layer. So we've got these two stones together. So your center of your brick, your stone's going to be about there. Go down, go over, go up, boom. All right? Down, go over, go up. Don't worry if they overlap. You can always erase because they overlap there a little bit. Okay, down, over, up, over. Okay? And leave a little gap between them. And again, stones are very forgiving because they're not precise. Okay? Oops. There you go. All right, let me do one more layer for you. So there, 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 there. So we're going to have a long one here, that's fine. And honestly, as you get to doing them, they'll be second nature to you as well. Oops, sorry. And I have a little gap, don't worry about that. It's a coloring book. It's okay. Or you can erase that and fix it either way. But see how I did that? All right, so now if you look at how I did this entire page, and yes, it took a while, but it was well worth it. Let me get you out there. Is I went ahead and I drew all my rectangles, okay? And then, so now I need my paper towel. So I'm considering these to be more stones, like pond stones. Let me pull you in a little bit here. All right, and I'm gonna work on this section. So just like my stones that I did, I'm going to do a little bit of coloring on the right. Look at that. Very light touch. And see, as I'm doing that, it starts giving me that stone effect that I want. I'm pressing probably a 1 or a 2 with my pencil because the lead is very, very soft. And then what I'm going to do is take my finger and rub over that. Look how that neat stone effect pops up. Isn't that something? Straightforward. Nothing exotic. Now, you don't want to rub it too much or else it's going to get kind of mushy. So see, what this means here now is I don't have to take a gray coloring pencil and color this in. It's already going to be colored in because I'm using my Walmart Pentax Pentel pencil. And then what you're going to want to do with this, because it is kind of messy and smeary, is you're going to want to go ahead and use your Krylon fixative, okay? And that'll make sure that nothing rubs off. So again, just a little backward C. Rub it a little bit. And notice the C's are irregular, so it rounds those a little bit. And you can see I don't have to be super persnickety with it. There you go. Now, excuse me. Now, for some reason, if you decide that that's a little too much gray, you can go ahead and hit that with a little white. And you do that with your eraser. And I'm just doing that randomly, okay? The other thing I want you to keep in mind is just because I did the bricks or stones on this one for this particular pattern doesn't mean that you can't do it on others. There's a lot of Johanna Basfords that you can add bricks to now that you know how to do them. All right, or stones. I keep saying bricks. That's all right. That's why you love me. All right, so when I did these, I started in the bottom, and then as I was going over, see how this angles up? I angled them up, angled up, angled up. So after I did the bottom, actually, I did this, and then I started to work it out to be flatter and flatter and flatter. So that's how I got this overall pattern with this. Okay, guys, I think that's it for now. I really can't think of anything else that I want to show you. We've added the little air pods here. I showed you how to add the mushrooms and the stones and to color them so that they come out three-dimensional. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing, the one last quick thing I would recommend, if you see something on a Johanna Basford page that you like these little leaves here, see if I can zoom in real quick. Trace them and then practice drawing them, and you can draw your own. Okay? They're like little teardrops. Let me see. I haven't done this in a while, so forgive me if I'm a little off kilter. Let's see here. Yeah, so we have that. Oh yeah, see? Nothing to it. Just make a pointy teardrop. That's a leaf there. And then you can make little vines. There you go. All sorts of neat ways. And then you ink that up and then you're ready for coloring. All right, so that truly is it. I really hope you learned something today. I enjoyed running this video for you. And like I said, I'm going to change my format a little bit on my videos. Instead of just coloring a page, I'm going to do the video on how I did the special effect or added something or something of that nature. All right, guys, love ya. Have a great rest of the day. This is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and happy joyous coloring. Bye.